Welcome, everybody, to Rants, Rabbit Trails, and Reviews. Back by no demand whatsoever, I am your host, Jason, and
I'm Brad.
And we are going to review The Devil's Rejects, which we literally have just got done watching. I don't know why we have subjected ourselves to such a piece of shit, but we did. Obviously, you can tell by my tone, I hate this movie. I know you don't particularly like this film.
Right. Let's just start off with a little disclaimer. We know that there are people who think this is a great movie. Who think
tons of hipsters love this movie. This is like the all-time.
It's so much better than House. Well, first of all, literally watching somebody take a dump is better than watching House of a Thousand Corpses.
Pretty much.
So this being one of those rare sequels.
Smell better.
One of those sequels that's better than the original. That doesn't mean much in this case.
No. Oh, but it was better.
It's true.
We're going to have to put that down on the list of positives, which isn't very long at all.
But yeah, so we know if you're a big fan of this movie, you probably just, go back to watching your internet porn or whatever. You probably want to just shut this off right now. Because
you're not going to like what we have to say about this film.
Right.
At all. I don't mean to jump in here, but if we're going to dissect this thing, I'm going to go ahead and start out with the end first. Okay? So, unbeknownst to you...
Spoilers.
Yeah, by the way, spoiler alert, everybody dies in this film, which isn't a bad thing. So, unbeknownst to you, while we were watching this, I timed the end, which is a pathetic... The ending is 5 minutes and 45 seconds long.
The Freebird?
The Freebird. The whole Freebird scene.
Like the whole song?
Whole song. It's 5 minutes and 49 seconds long.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous. I mean... The thing that I found the most ridiculous about this entire thing, honestly, it wasn't... Freebird is fine. That's an okay song. I don't mind the song. But was the whole... What the fuck? Was that the whole movie thing? Where they're showing the three of them and they're tiptoeing through the daisies with the weed, and they're all like hugging. What are we supposed to feel there? What is that? What's that about? I want any of you people out there to explain to me what that's supposed to be about. How is that cool? How is that awesome? Because me and this man right here have been on forums and we have talked to people who try to sell us on this piece of shit. And nobody can give me a good explanation of how that... Well, I'm supposed to be rooting for these people because they're outlaws. They're maniacs. For all intents and purposes, in the torture scene, you're glad to see these people get tortured, okay? But the way Rob Zombie is doing it at the end of this movie is it's like a heroic thing. Like they're going out Thelma and Louise style.
The thing I think he was trying to accomplish... This may be giving him too much credit. But if he was trying to accomplish this... then he succeeded, was to show a bunch of irredeemable assholes who, after what they did in that motel room to those people,
Which, by the way, is the only horrific thing, pretty much, in that film.
And we'll get back to that.
That's the only closest thing to a horror film.
Yeah, it's not really a horror film.
No.
Sorry for people who were claiming, this is the new horror classic.
What was that? What was that you saw there? Like,
somebody online
posted up for a perfect horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that movie to show up.
Yeah. I don't know what they're talking about. This was more of like a thriller, kind of almost a criminal outlaw gangster movie, something Bonnie and Clyde type. Anyway, it was not really a horror movie in my opinion. But regardless, my point was that I think what Zombie might have been trying to do is show these people do these horrible things at the beginning, and they're monsters, and you're supposed to be against them, and then he tries to see if he can get anyone in the audience to actually like them by the end of the movie. Like, if he can get you to actually like people this terrible, I don't know what the point is, though. Is it supposed to show, if you like these people, then you're a fucking asshole? Because that's what I think. If you were, feeling bad at the end when they're getting gunned down by the cops, then, there's probably something wrong with you. Yeah. Because they were horrible. And in fact, the first time I saw it, now, we just watched it, as he said, but this is not the first time either. Both of us have seen this movie before. And so we kind of knew what to expect. We were just kind of focusing on different details, like him with the music and timing the scene and stuff like that. As far as the editing and stuff, which is, he was trying to stick to a kind of 70s aesthetic, and he did a great job with that. The film quality, the editing choices, the way some of the scenes played out a little bit longer than they would in like a typical, modern day movie when things got to keep moving quickly. And he kind of like that scene with the ice cream. Oh, I want ice cream. I want ice cream.
Oh,
Shut up
God.
about the fucking ice cream.
Oh my God.
And that just kept going. And you're like, all right. But
Yeah.
so he did a good job with some of that stuff. But as far as
the chicken fucker scene.
chicken fucker scene. Okay, I'm digressing here. My point originally was that the first time I saw this movie, I actually got upset when Sheriff Badass ended up going all crazy psycho. He ended up turning basically into one of them.
Right.
Which turns into one of the rejects.
I kind of think was sort of the point.
I know that was supposed to be the point, that even, a so-called hero...
Arm of the law.
Yeah, can be just as horrible as these people. And that's an interesting point to make in the movie, that, there's a thin line between good and evil. Okay, fair enough. But it was like, okay, so the one person then that we're supposed to be cheering for suddenly turns into a psycho killer, and now there's nobody in this movie that I care about. Which is kind of the
Except
same
for Machete
problem.
and Diamond Dallas Page, who I think pretty much played themselves.
I think so too.
And they didn't die. They actually lived. I thought that they were going to get killed, and they go in there and they slit everyone's
They do what
throat.
they're supposed to do.
I can't imagine they were paid very well. I pretty much think that they were pressured by the cop to just go in there and do it.
No,
or else.
I mean, they
You
said
paid
that
us
they were-
the unholy trio to go do some shit.
The unholy duo.
A duo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were-
unholy duo. There was only two of them. To come in here and be Lord Badass, and that's what they did.
Trejo actually already play part of the unholy duo in Replacement Killers?
Yeah, I think so.
And then he was the unholy singular in Desperado.
So I guess he found Diamond Dallas Page on the side of the road, gave him a job, and they do their job. They're like the only characters that kind of do what they're set out to do.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but I mean, all right. So because we're going to end up spending the rest of this time slamming this film, I'm only going to come out and here's the only positives I'm giving this film.
Okay.
And this is it. First of all, I'm going to say that the actors all did a pretty good job, considering if there was a script written at all. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the dumb shit with Otis, and Captain that's all ad-libbed, because there's too many fuck shits that were thrown into for that to actually be written down and then memorize it. I don't buy
And
it.
you don't think Zombie was behind the camera?
Oh.
There's supposed to be 4 shit fucks.
I actually do.
4 shit fucks.
As perverted as that guy is, I could buy that, and mine actually have been written down, but I don't. It was so amateur that, and I'm not saying the acting was, but I'm just saying it was. I can get the impression that Zombie was just like, okay, guys, you just go in there and you do your thing. I can just see that, or a lot of that was prodded on. I mean, Rob Zombie has a very sick sense of humor. He tries, and that's the problem. Is he shouldn't try to be funny. He needs to just stick to being scary, and that's kind of where I'm going to get at with more of my rants. The positive note, which we had talked about before we did this. It's a waste. Is I liked the film quality because it gives you a very 70s style movie. I wish more movies were done like this. Next to Argo, I haven't seen a movie that's really been done in that kind of old 70s style film. That'll lead us on to other reviews that we have, like when we start talking about the Star Wars movies. Why couldn't they have been done with that film quality? Like just the film quality itself, not the. But I mean, but because that brings you into that era. It was like. So the film quality was good. The costumes were good.
Oh, the prequels.
Then that's it. Yeah, we'll hit that up. So the costuming good.
Right.
Film quality good. Acting's not even really that bad, just kind of considering. All right, that's as far as it goes. That's it. The score sucked. The 70s was a long time, all right? that's a long. There's 10 years there where he could have gone and gotten any song that he wanted to, and the songs that he picked were just not very. They weren't very good. They didn't. I don't think that they gave any sort of justice to the film. They didn't do anything awesome. They didn't make it great. They just kind of, I don't know, they were just kind of in the background, which is, again, the problem with a lot of movies nowadays. People just say, what the hell, and just pick. And that's kind of what Rob Zombie did. And that's what's pissing me off. That amongst other things. Rob Zombie's a music man, okay? He was a heavy metal, hardcore, shock, horror, metal guy, all right? So there's music in there. This guy knows how to, he did a lot of the writing on all his albums, and so this guy has a pretty big ego of himself. So, why not inject that? Why not take some of that knowledge of music and really stretch it? And I guess, to you people out there, that's my problem, is he never stretches it. In House of a Thousand Corpses, he never stretches it. I was so let down by that movie, and we're not even hitting that yet. I was let down by that film. I'm let down even more by this movie, because none of it was original. I've heard homage thrown out in my face, and that doesn't mean shit to me. And it doesn't mean really shit to you, because to me, it's not paying homage to a genre. He basically took every single slasher film from the 1970s and remade it. We have a list. I mean, the very beginning of the movie is like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with the guy and the narration and the little words. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Otis, always taking the faces off of people and wearing them. It's Leatherface. And it's clear as day. They didn't even try to hide.
No, and that's why people will argue with you that
I'm sure they will.
It's an homage, because they even shot in the same house where they shot Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Right.
That house that they burned down.
Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is the house that the best little whorehouse in Texas is. And I know you little hipster kids don't know what the hell we're talking about, but it's a good musical. Please continue. IMDb, by the way, and we are not affiliated by any. They wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole, but that's just where I got that little factoid. Please continue.
Sorry. I don't know if you can trust everybody on IMDb, but
you digress. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm digressing. Anyway, but yeah, it's highly probable because it seems to be in a good location where they film a lot of movies. So,
well, I mean, it's easy to make it creepy and weird.
Yeah,
it looks like a stereotypical home. And before you get going, I don't have a problem. Again, I don't have a problem, and we've talked about this before too. I would much rather that than a straight out remake. I don't mind drawing influence, but when it's an outright, blatant, non-original thing, everything from the boogeyman to the only thing that was original about that whole story was Dr. Satan, and we will talk about when we do House of a Thousand Corpses of what a letdown that is. We wait the whole movie to meet this guy, and he sucked. He wasn't scary at all. You can't even understand what the fuck he says at the end. With the fuck, the thing and the strings and that. I'm supposed to be scared of that? That's supposed to give me nightmares? I mean, come on. Anyway, please continue. Sorry.
No,
I totally stepped all over you.
That's fine.
So you would say people would argue with me.
Yeah, and as far as one of the positives about this movie, since we're trying not to just shit all over Rob Zombie, I mean, the guy did have an artistic vision, and he shot it. I guess that was not.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
It's not an easy thing to do.
That did not feel like a movie that was created by studio jackasses.
No.
I mean, that seemed like that was really his specific movie. It was an interesting premise to show a horror movie from the perspective not of the scared kids who are being killed off, like the first movie, House of a Thousand Corpses. Holy shit. It's the typical, these teenagers go to the wrong place and they get killed. The problem with that movie is that they were all dirtbags, so I didn't care if they were fucking killed.
Especially in that first movie, minus Captain Spaulding, that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. It was basically...
The house, the cannibalism, the dinner table.
Right.
I mean, it was
like Wrong Turn, just like all these...
same fucking thing. Yeah. And it never... That's what made me so mad. And we had talked about that too. Is I welcome the idea of him writing a movie. I'm like, this is going to be great. Because his music is god-awful. And I mean in a good way. You guys don't understand. I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan as far as his music was concerned. You listen to his albums with the creepy outtakes and just the I mean, just the unholiness in there is genius. You know, I mean, those popular songs like Dragula, Living Dead Girl, all those songs are great. And those songs, a lot of them were influenced from his favorite black and white horror films.
Right.
And you would think that by the time you got ready to write and do your own original movie, let's not do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right, and that's why I think
but from the perspective of...
The interesting thing about the sequel is that Devil's Rejects, instead of doing another bunch of fucking kids walk into Spaulding's shop and get sent to the horror I mean, this time he decided...
the murder ride.
Yeah, this time he decided that he would show the movie from the perspective of the killers, which is an interesting idea if maybe they had spent like the entire movie. The cops show up, shoot up the house, they run, they're on the run, and they meet those people in the motel. And if that had been like the whole movie, like how are these people going to get away from these serial killers? Or are they all going to die? Are any of them going to make it? Is there, kind of almost like...
I get it. I get it. Like almost like Natural Born Killers.
Right.
Like that was the first movie that, again, we had ever seen the story being told on essentially the killer's point of view. Yeah, I mean, they were on a rampage, but it was kind of getting into their own sort of personal not mission, but their own personal like journey.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that one either.
Trust me, we'll hit that one because I have serious problems with that film. Even though I'm a huge Oliver Stone fan, and I that's probably one of my least favorites for all kinds of reasons.
But yeah, I mean, so it's an interesting premise, but I just don't like where he decided to go with it. Everybody in this movie's a jackass.
And it's not horrific. Like there's nothing. I hear again.
Yeah, it's grotesque.
That's it.
There's some horrible like grotesque shit that happens, but none of it is like.
It's not shocking, really. I mean, it's like you said. It's grotesque and slicey dicey, but not even. I mean, just. It's the gratuitous using of the F word, which again, obviously that doesn't offend me, but I mean it's gratuitous. It's just fuck, shit. I mean, we counted. It was like 15 or 20 of the fuck shits.
I think IMDb, again, a trusted source. IMDb said there's like 540 fucks in this movie,
which to me, that is. I don't know how you feel about this, and we can kind of hit this up again later on too, but I think that's like a safety net word of actors if they get scared or they get nervous or they run out of shit to say. They always jump into a fuck. I mean, they do that in Good Will Hunting. We've talked about that. Good movie, but Eric, Jesus H. Christ, they fuck, motherfucker, fuck. The word loses all sort of meaning when you use it that much in a movie. It's not scary, it's not shocking, it ends up making you sound ridiculous and stupid. Like, swearing is great, swearing is awesome. We do it on a daily basis. When it's well placed in a film, it's very effective. And it kind of shows dimensions to a character. I'm not saying that these people need dimensions, but if Rob was trying to make these people scary, he failed miserably. They're not scary.
I will say that I appreciate the fact
the cop was more scary. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I mean, that was a guy going over the edge. He started as like a lawman who was just out.
Was he not more
criminals? And then as the movie goes on, he gets more and more insane. He has this little fucking taxi driver moment.
Yeah, which again I hated, but I wrote that down. Yeah, taxi driver.
Yeah,
you little hipsters look that one up. Robert De Niro.
He starts talking to himself and getting himself all fucking freaky. And
has a dream about his brother.
Yeah, and by the end, like we said, when he's chasing her and whipping her, I mean, he's just as bad as they are.
Right.
He turns into one of them, which is again, it's an interesting idea. It
was shitty execution. It was just pure shitty execution all the way around. And that's what it seems like to me. It's like one of these stereotypical films that you watch where it's like, A, you keep waiting for it to get better, and it never does. B, it's like you sat down in a boardroom and it's like all these ideas, and you just checked every single box. Like Rob had a list of horror films that he loved growing up, and it was like, yes, 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 and yes. Boom. And I'm going to write 2 movies about it. That's what it looked like. Now, I will say, this is what I will say. I don't know what the time frame was in between. I mean, I think one came out in '01 or '02. The Devil's Rejects came out in '05. But again, I don't know production-wise what that meant. Like, I don't know if he had already had this movie written or if he was writing it while he was filming the first one. But he did a pretty good job as far as making them look similar. They look the same, you know. He at least kept that together. So that, I guess that's another positive. I mean, at least he kept that together. But
and Sherry didn't have the annoying squeaky voice.
oh, Jesus Christ!
I appreciate
no
that.
offense to her, and obviously she will never watch this, but that shit sucks. And she's actually a very good actress. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah, I thought she was.
But it's
great
that
she was my favorite
shit.
part of Halloween, by the way. The zombie
Which is the only actually, and again, that's another thing that I don't. People, and we'll get. Oh God, with the remakes, we'll get into that. That'll be a whole other thing. You know, the only kind of saving point, I guess, of that remake, it wasn't a bad remake, but it wasn't necessary. As we will, as you know, it wasn't necessary. But yeah, it showed more of her acting side, which will piss you off because you actually see that there's an actress in there instead of just this crazy little girl that runs around and slashes people with a knife. True, they're two different characters, but still,
Yeah.
less is more. Less is more. Now, people will argue that that's not the point of this. This is a slasher film. This is like, and that's I guess another problem with it is like too many cooks, spoiling the recipe. It's like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's way too many over the top characters to make it scary. That's it. I mean, usually in good old fashioned horror, like when a stranger calls, there's one bad guy. One. These guys are all like, it was like in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, essentially you have one bad guy. You have Leatherface, okay? You have a spokesperson amongst the group, but truly who you're supposed to be frightened of is Leatherface, this guy that shows up with a chainsaw and takes people's faces and makes suits and shit out of them, all right? That's who you're supposed to be afraid of. But it was like Rob gave every person in, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a voice and a personality. There was like, I can't remember. God, there's been so many remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't remember which one this was, but there was one where it was like they were. It was like looked like a corpse that was sitting at the table, and this chick was like sitting next to it, and then like right in the middle, you think that he's dead. And he like gets up and walks away. I mean, it was stuff like that kind of made that scary. It's just so over the top. Like in a House of a Thousand Corpses, we're not reviewing that, but if you go back to that movie, it's like, oh God, it's all in your face. The uncle that tells all the perverted jokes, to the Madam Butterfly, who, Honey Child and all this bullshit, and the fucking Sherry Zombie coming in with her every 5 minutes with this and that, and it's just not. Oh God, and the way some of that shit was shot was terrible. Let's just get that out there with the it's showtime and just God, it was. He toned some of that back when he did this movie. He toned a lot of that stuff back. Like he reined some of that in, but not enough. I couldn't have been happier in the end. And I don't remember again where we saw it. I don't remember what forums we were, but we both kind of had seen where these people are sad that they get killed in the end, or they get praised. Oh, they went out like true heroes, like Thelma and Louise. Who gives a shit? I want to see him die, and I shouldn't. And that's the thing, is like where it's confusing. It's like, what are these people? Are they maniacs, or are you really trying to make them like heroic outlaws? Because you fail at that. It fails all the way around.
Right. So coming back to our
Full
original
circle.
point, or back to our original point. Yeah, I think if he was trying to make us feel sympathy for these people, it was a failure.
Failure is a horror movie because it's not
Failure
horrific.
is a horror movie.
Other than it is horrific. It's
not-
horrific for the wrong
It's
reasons.
not scary.
Not scary.
But
not scary.
Like you said, every character wanted to be the coolest character on screen. You can't all be Mr. Blonde, all right?
Good
it's
point.
like-
That's a good point.
It's like somebody has to be Mr. Orange. Somebody has to be Mr. What? It's like they can't all be Mr. Cool.
No.
So, but they all wanted to be cool. I mean, Spaulding
Oh.
is his awesome
Who
humor.
is worshipped by a lot of you out
Right,
there.
and Otis.
Those two, I'm sorry. They're good actors, but their characters blow. They're so over the top, they're annoying.
Yeah.
What is it, one of those lines there in House of a Thousand Corpses? I think what really set me off, and I mean this literally, Rob, if you're watching, what made me almost get up in the middle of your shitty movie when I went to the theaters and saw it, was when the two criminals come in, and there's some dialogue exchange, and like the clown grabs the gun, and he turns the tables on him, and but before that, he's just like, the guy says something, he's like, "Fuck your mama and fuck your daddy." What is that shit? Who come up with that? Was that Rob, or was it the clown? Was it Sid Haig or whatever the hell this guy's name is?
Okay. Yeah, my favorite Sid just for the
And
record,
he's a good
since
actor.
since
I'm
we're
not dumping
mentioning
on I'm not dumping on
my
that
favorite
guy.
Sid Haig performances are when he's being killed by Pam Grier. Just
I like him. I like that actor very much, and I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I like him very much. Okay, I just don't like Captain Spaulding. I don't know if that's Rob's creation, if that's a combination of the two. The guy has great delivery, and he's a nice guy, I guess. I don't know. I've met him all of no times. But, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. That shit is so in your face. It's so over the top. It's just too over the top.
Okay.
It's too, Lord, I gotta make a point here. Fuck you. That's like the last line. Most importantly, fuck you. And, kills the guy. Come on. Anyway, go get on your murder ride and go fucking eat some chicken.
Okay, so
I'll tell you guys how I really feel about that movie.
in conclusion, but seriously, to wrap up, yeah, we don't have much else to say.
Probably way over time, but we bitched about the 5 minute and 24 second.
Yeah, we've bitched a lot. So, if you have any comments for us, which I'm sure you'll have plenty of praise for our beautiful and well thought out argument.
Yeah, because this movie's shitty.
Anyway, feel free to leave a comment, hit the like button, fuck you, hit the like button. Oh my god,
we'll edit all
I'm gonna
this
get
out.
good at this.
You will
at some point.
We got plenty of time.
We
We can edit all this shit out. It's all right. It's fine.
Right. Okay. So, if you like the rant, please hit the like button and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
That'd be great.
And
And FYI, we're not doing jump cuts. Sorry. We're old school as it comes. Gonna have to pay attention, folks.
all right. Thank you.
Have a good evening.